Emio. We talked about it last week. I put my theory forth. You put your theory forth. Now we have the answer.
Yeah, now we know who Emio is. Your theory was that Emio was actually one of two things. I think you pitched that maybe it was actually the successor to the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
That somehow. And then you said maybe it was a new F-Zero game. Like maybe it was Captain Falcon.
Yes.
Both those theories seemed a little, maybe a little out there to me. But
what did you think? You just thought it was like a...
I was hoping it was a new IP from Nintendo, a new horror IP.
Yeah.
Turns out we were all wrong.
Yeah, I feel like I was a lot closer, though.
You know what? I'm going to give you this one. You definitely were closer because the successor to the Nintendo Switch is almost the same as getting a new game in the Famicom Detective Club series.
Yeah.
They're basically one and the same, which is what this is.
You... Bear with me on this.
Okay.
Now, Famicom Detective Club has the word Famicom in it.
Which is a console.
A different console to the Nintendo Switch. What's the next Nintendo console going to be called? We don't know. And for that reason, I have been steadfast on referring to it as the successor to the Nintendo Switch. My point being, the name of this game has the name of another console in it. My theory was that this had something to do with another Nintendo console. I just crossed my wires. Instead of going forward in time, we went backward in time. Lawyered.
Yeah, 100%. So this new game is called Emio, the Smiling Man. Importantly, it is the first new game in the Famicom Detective Club series in 35 years, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like a crazy amount of time.
That is an imperceivable amount of time.
It's longer than both of us have been alive.
Yes.
Wild.
That's
have you
pretty
played?
crazy.
Have you ever played one of these games?
No. Did they remake them?
They remade them recently.
Okay.
I think it was like within the last few years, maybe.
I thought so.
They released the first, I think it was 2 games.
I think it was.
They released Switch remakes, like completely remade versions. And then apparently after that, they started working on a new one. I guess it inspired them. Maybe those did well.
So I wonder if you can play those and kind of get a feel for what this one's going to be like. I guess
Probably.
you can.
And I think that this is, from what I understand, this game is connected to those. Like it's a sequel. Like I think there are returning characters and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know that you have to play those to
Interesting.
understand this. You probably don't.
Probably not.
But
They're not going to make a 35-year-old prerequisite.
no, they're definitely not.
That's pretty
well, I
wild.
mean, the prerequisite, if you consider that they have the remakes out, I guess it's not 35-year-old prerequisite, but still probably no prerequisite for something like this.
I don't think so. Yeah, no, I've never played one. You haven't played one either, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
They're like visual novels. They're like visual detective novels. Like that's not my kind of game. At least I don't think it's my kind of game. Admittedly, I have not played many of those.
The only like visual novel game I've ever played was Doki Doki Literature
Okay, I
Club,
played that too.
and I love that game.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I can say that I don't like visual novels.
true. I'm gonna argue that the reason you like Doki Doki Literature Club wasn't because it was a visual novel, though.
No, but I liked it because of the crazy story.
Yeah, exactly.
But they told that through a visual novel. So like, as long as it has a good story, maybe I'm into it. I don't know. Like,
And it is rated mature. Who knows what this thing's gonna do?
and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I like me a bloody game. Yeah. Now I'll tell you, I started thinking about this and how it's a visual novel, and I actually last night I spent a little time and I started playing through the Ace Detective games.
Where'd you get those?
Oh, I've had them on Switch for a while.
Oh, you have? Oh, okay.
I have one of the trilogies. There's
okay.
I think there's multiple, but I have the Phoenix Wright trilogy, and I wonder how similar it is. I don't know. That game was pretty charming in the first. I only went through the first case.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably keep playing that.
And that also, I guess, is a sort of visual novel
Yeah.
too, right?
Oh, it's definitely a visual novel, but it's
You make like choices and stuff and it goes through. Okay.
yeah. I think those were GBA games.
I think that they were handheld games. GBA, maybe some DS stuff. Maybe,
Yeah.
I think there's been a number of those games.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not gonna say that I'm not into it.
Those are Capcom, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. And Cap God don't miss, bro.
You play enough Capcom games, you're going to run across a few misses. Tell that to Exoprimal.
Oh, you didn't play Exoprimal.
I know, no one did. No one played Exoprimal, Daniel. No one did.
Listen, that's like one miss in how many hits?
Tell that to that Resident Evil live service game they tried.
When was that?
Not even that long ago.
Well, I don't know shit about that.
Yeah.
So.
It completely just flopped. What was it called? Oh my gosh. One of you guys comment, let me know. I can't remember what it was called. Okay, so we put out a poll, going back to Emio, we put out a poll asking, are you satisfied with Nintendo's reveal of Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club? It's a long name. 12% of people said, yes, I'm happy with this. 6% of people said no. 15% said I'm neutral. And then 68% of people said, I don't even know what this is.
Those people are busy and they didn't have 15 seconds to spare to watch the trailer that took over the internet.
Did the trailer, did the trailer really take over the internet, or did it just take over like the game enthusiast section of the internet?
Is there other sections?
I'm not aware of them, but I've been told. There are other ones. I've heard there are sections.
What else can I do with it?
Like cat videos, I think are pretty popular. Like you can look up videos of cats. You should check it.
Cats.
Yeah, I know. You should check it out.
What about like baseball?
No.
Is there baseball?
No, that's a sport you play outside, not on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably just stick to the section I'm familiar with, in which it was dominated by Emio, the Smiling Man. What do you think about this, Randy? Are you happy? Are you sad? Do you know what it is?
I know what it is. I would lean toward disappointment because I was really hoping that this was a new game, a new horror IP. Nintendo was going like full on crazy mode. That is not what we're getting here. Yes, it's rated M, which I think is very unique because as far as I know, this is developed by Nintendo. Maybe Nintendo's weird. They never tell you who's developing a game, but it's weird that it's rated M. That's very rare for Nintendo to even publish an M-rated game.
Yeah.
Much less develop one. And so that's cool, but a visual novel definitely throws a little water on the flames for me personally.
I said I was happy about it because if I'm ever honest, which I occasionally am, and if I had ever been completely honest about what I thought about this game, I think a visual novel is a pretty decent guess.
About what you thought it might be?
Yeah, I think a visual novel is a pretty decent guess.
That was why last week on the podcast you kept harping on the fact that you thought it was a visual novel.
Well, I kept that to myself. No, I'm not saying I thought that. I'm just saying I think that's reasonable. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Like if someone said,
"Yeah,
maybe it's a visual novel," you'd have been like, "Yeah, that sounds disappointing enough to be true."
I mean, clearly,
Right?
I thought it was F-Zero, but listen, man, the only visual novel you've ever played is Doki Doki Literature Club,
I may have played some others. I don't
which
know.
was rated M.
Yeah,
and you loved it.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't want people to shit on this because it might tell a really crazy Japanese M-rated story. Those you don't know what's going to happen in the story. We just know it's going to have some twists and turns, man.
Yeah. Look, I'm a little disappointed by it, and I think that my thoughts are sort of tied up here, or I should say expressed very nicely through this comment from 02446, who said, I kind of wish game companies would stop making teaser trailers that are vastly different from the game that they're trying to advertise. I think that has some validity here. I don't think that the teaser trailer was vastly different. I mean, obviously this visual novel is going to be horror skewed, if not entirely horror.
Yeah. There was nothing to the trailer either.
Yeah, but the trailer in no way made it seem like it was a visual novel. And that is where I think that there's some validity to this comment. I think that if the fact that we could be like, maybe it's a new horror game, you know?
Yeah.
And it turns out, well, maybe it is a horror game, but it's a horror visual novel. It's like, okay, I wish that they had hinted in some way in that teaser that maybe it was a visual novel so that maybe we wouldn't get our hopes up thinking it was something maybe bigger or more, I don't know. A visual novel just seems somewhat small in scope.
I mean, we are talking about the Switch. So, like, I don't know. When I think about a big horror game, I think about Resident Evil.
Yes.
And I'm not sure how good a Resident Evil game would look on the Switch.
You can play one.
Which one?
You can play
Oh,
one.
yeah. But you can't play the remakes.
You can play the cloud versions of a lot of Resident Evil games, and then you can play,
Those are cloud versions.
and then you can play some like Resident Evil 4, 5, 6. You can play those natively.
But not the remakes.
Not the remakes, no.
So I don't know that it's really that realistic to expect something like that. That may have not been what you were expecting.
Horror games do not have to be giant visual, craziness. They don't have to have that.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I hate that you're disappointed.
I'm not extremely disappointed. I just don't know if I'm going to play it. And that kind of disappoints me because I wanted to play Emio.
There's no way it's going to be full price, right? No way. No freaking way.
You're talking about Nintendo.
No freaking way.
You're talking about Nintendo. Look up whatever the Famicom Detective Club collection that came out on Switch a few years back. I don't know how much that would cost, but I would imagine that this will be priced similarly.
It's a tough one, dude.
Gosh, I can't. That one really messes with your tongue.
Similarly.
Thank you for just making me look idiotic. What do you know? It's $60.
Yeah, but this is 2 cases.
Yeah, remakes of NES games, Daniel. Okay?
I bet they don't look anything like NES games.
Yeah, like I'm going to watch this trailer and find out right now. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about Nintendo here, okay?
This don't look like it was running on NES.
No, they remade it. They remade it and brought it up to modern standards. It looks like an anime.
It does look like an anime. And I like anime.
Just saying, though, I could totally see this game being priced at full price.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're right. That could be full price. I mean, I'm just thinking about like they just put out the NES Championship game. $30, $60 if you want the collector edition. Like, but this is like that's like a collection of ROM challenges. I mean,
and speaking of, we're going to be talking about the the Nintendo World Championship
NES
in our bonus episode. We'll talk about more about that in a second. But that being said, I was watching you play that last night, and you were tearing through it pretty quickly. I don't know that if you just played through all the things, I don't know that game's going to last you a whole lot of time. It's going to be a fairly short game.
No, I was doing all the challenges. I wasn't playing like the survival. There's a couple other modes.
Oh, okay.
But I think its main thing they're trying to push, and we'll get into this. This is honestly kind of bonus episode content, but there's some other. The whole like world championship aspect of the game is not really even a thing yet because they don't post results until the end of the week.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
okay,
I don't know. But I agree with you. Yeah. It's not going to be a long game.
No. And maybe this Emio game is going to be a real meaty game. It could be long, man. Some of these visual novels can be long.
Maybe.
So who knows? I wouldn't put it past me in $60. Well, listen, y'all. Daniel, you have anything else to say about this?
No, I hope it's not $60, but now I'm kind of thinking it will be. And, Randy just shit all over it, so I don't even know what to say. Like, I thought it was kind of a neat idea.
It is a neat idea.
I like the idea of a 35-year-old franchise getting a new game. I think that's cool. I'm trying to support this idea. I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I think the character of Emio looks scary. I like to be scared. And I don't understand why Gamepaw has to be such a negative Nancy all the time. I was just saying
it could be full price. It could be a $60 game.
It probably will be, Randy.
The last one was. Okay.